We have a major Anthony Davis injury update where he may come back sooner than we thought. The Dallas Mavericks are currently 5-14 with one of the worst offenses in the NBA, while at the same time having one of the best defenses in the NBA, which has resulted in the Dallas Mavericks being in the clutch more than any other team, while at the same time not able to win that many games in the clutch, where some people would argue if we're that close to winning so many games, if we had a healthy Anthony Davis, then we're winning most of these games. We have a winning record. Maybe Nico doesn't get fired. Maybe the Dallas Mavericks look like a top team in the NBA, but that therein lies the problem. If healthy, or when we're healthy, something that we really haven't seen for a very, very long time. And with this new medical staff, they've obviously been taking a very careful approach to all of our players, with Daniel Gafford, Derrick Lively, as well as Anthony Davis. But yesterday, before the game against the Miami Heat, we did get somewhat of an update from Jason Kidd that hints at a possible Anthony Davis return. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the reports surrounding Anthony Davis. When could he come back? What's holding him back? And which direction should the Mavs go? Do we still try to stay competitive, or do we raise his trade value and trade him? But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with today's video, we're currently sitting at 23,173 subscribers. You know we got a goal of 25K. So if you want to be up to date on everything Mavericks related, make sure you subscribe. But the Dallas Mavericks have had a pretty rough, last 365 days, dealing with injuries, illnesses, people getting traded, people getting signed, drafted. A whole lot has happened over the last year. But if there's one constant with this Dallas Mavericks team, is injuries. And it's one of the most frustrating thing about this organization, because we all know on paper this team is actually really, really good. If fully healthy, from the number one option to the 15th man on the bench, this team would be a threat if they could stay healthy. And unfortunately, that is our reality. We just can't stay healthy. In our last night's game against the Miami Heat, as well as the game before against the Memphis Grizzlies, we were in clutch time. We were in moments many times this whole season, not just those two games, but we've been in moments where the game was very, very close. Only 2 or 3 points where one lucky shot falls in and we're winning these games. And a lot of people would argue that, well, if you have Anthony Davis, who can give you at least 20-something points per game, then you win these games. Whereas some people would argue, well, we were losing when he was here, so what difference would that actually be? We actually have a top defense in the NBA without Anthony Davis actually playing, but having the worst offense could be because we don't have an Anthony Davis currently playing. If we take a look right here, just to refresh everybody's mind, right before the game against the Miami Heat yesterday, we got this report saying that Anthony Davis will miss his 14th straight game tonight due to a calf injury. We all know he's injured, dealing with the bilateral tendinopathy, something crazy with his Achilles tendons. But they are taking a careful approach, and by they, I mean our medical staff, which is a lot better than the staff we had last year, where, oh, you are injured, you'll be back in like 3 days, 4 days maybe, you'll be fine. No, we're taking a methodical approach to guys coming back, and obviously with Anthony Davis, you really need to take that approach. But with that being said, he missed his 14th game. He's only played 14 games for the Mavs, so he's par for the course. But just to bring back another update, just to remind everybody that Anthony Davis, dealing with a calf injury, will return once Johan Billsborough and the Mavs medical staff tell Patrick Dumont that he's cleared for reactivation. This isn't Anthony Davis's own personal team of medical staff and trainers. This is the Dallas Mavericks and Patrick Dumont taking matters into their own hands to make sure that Anthony Davis or anybody does not come back too soon. We have seen too much over the last year to allow this to happen again. But we did get an update surrounding Anthony Davis yesterday from Jason Kidd right before tip-off that goes a little something like this. Jason Kidd said Anthony Davis is trending in the right direction as he works back from a calf strain. They anticipate Davis practicing on Wednesday. Kidd on Davis said he's worked extremely hard. The next step is practice on Wednesday, and we'll see what happens after that. And if you follow the Dallas Mavericks closely on social media, over the last several days, Anthony Davis hasn't even been at shoot-around. So I'm not sure to what extent he's already been in practice, but according to Jason Kidd and the way that he worded all of that, it sounds like he hasn't been at practice, but maybe doing some other stuff that we don't see behind the scenes as he's recovered and coming back. And if Anthony Davis does come back to practice on Wednesday, then I'm almost guaranteed that he will play on Friday. Now, why would he play on Friday, you may ask? Well, Friday's a pretty important game. Not only is it Black Friday, but the next game the Dallas Mavericks play is against this man. And obviously, we all know what he's capable of. We know what he does to certain teams, especially if he gets riled up. And I can't really remember. I didn't check. But if this is in Dallas, This game is going to be madness. The energy in that arena is going to erupt. Everybody's going to be pumped to have Luka Doncic back in the arena. Maybe not really pumped as the Lakers, but pumped that is Luka Doncic, and we can only expect a crazy performance from him. And like I said, I didn't really check before I recorded, so if this game is in LA, then yeah, maybe Luka still goes off. So will we need Anthony Davis for that game? Most likely. If not, then we'll probably, maybe, somehow make it close, get into the clutch, and then whoopsies, turnover. Whoopsies, half-court three-pointer, whatever it is that we've been doing over the last several games. But if, in fact, we can get Anthony Davis back healthy before that game, then maybe, just maybe, we have a fighting chance. And then especially if this is a more healthy Anthony Davis. One of the many things that we heard all off-season is that Anthony Davis doesn't necessarily come into the season healthy. He kind of works his way in. We did get a report, which we'll go over later in this video, how there are teams that are interested in Anthony Davis just if he loses a little bit of weight. We've seen recent pictures where he's got a little bit of a stomach, and he obviously hasn't been really been working out. But if we can get a healthy Anthony Davis, a more fresh and motivated Anthony Davis to play against the Lakers, then maybe we get a shot at our 6th win of the season in only 20 games it took us to get 6 wins. So hopefully we do get AD back. Hopefully we can make it a competitive game. I'd much rather see us lose in a very clutch moment than just flat out get stomped by 20, 30 points because Luka wants to drop a 50-point triple-double on us. And that may just happen. But another thing that we want to take a look at right here, Jason Kidd said the Mavericks had good looks that just didn't fall down the stretch against Miami. The 30th ranked offense has liked the looks they've generated all the way to a 5-14 record. Dallas is 4-11 in clutch games with the NBA's highest clutch turnover count. And yes, one of those turnovers was last night against the Miami Heat when PJ just passed it straight to Bam Adebayo. Just completely crazy. But if this gives you an idea of where this Dallas Mavericks team is currently without AD for 14 out of our 19 games so far, then adding in a more healthy and ready Anthony Davis could yield better results. But bringing back Anthony Davis can only really mean one of two things. Either we're trying to slowly bring guys back when they're healthy so we can have a competitive and maybe more successful second half to the season as we're about to hit game 20, or we're going to bring AD back for the sole purpose of build up that trade value and see what we can get by February. And I'll bring up the report that came out a few weeks ago that NBA teams interested in trading for Anthony Davis hope he loses weight. Multiple teams are interested in trading for Davis, but those teams believe he needs to lose weight so he can be the mobile threat he usually is. And like I said, it goes either one of two ways. Either he becomes that mobile athletic threat for us, or he becomes that mobile athletic threat for someone else and we get some picks and young players back. There's a lot of people that are on the side of a rebuild. They're tired of these losses with the fairly talented team and would much rather just try to focus on the future of Cooper Flagg. There are other people that are, no, we need to compete now. We got the best players. We got a good team. Why not just give it a shot? And me personally, I've said it many times. I'm on the side of a rebuild. However, the more I think about it, the more that I see from this team, the more I believe we're not going to trade Anthony Davis. Anything can change, for sure. But right now, I really do think that Mark Cuban, who is in charge right now, that he's literally the one calling the shots, along with Jason Kidd, want to see what this team can do. Definitely want to see its potential before you just get rid of it. And I don't think there's any harm in that, especially if this year's a wash anyway. We know that our pick will be a good pick this year, but definitely next year, try to make the right moves. Either you compete or you blow it up. But let me know in the comment section down below, do you think that Anthony Davis coming back on Friday is a realistic time frame, or do you think they're going to wait a little bit longer for him? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. We can have a conversation about it. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. And as always, y'all, take care. Drink water. Peace.